Kind of crazy how your public servants will hold you to this. Citizens' legal duties, but not themselves. Now, in the preamble of the Rule of Professional Conduct, it tells you as a member of the legal community and as a public citizen. Okay, so these are legal requirements of lawyers and judges as well, okay? Legal duties of citizens are mandatory obligations required by law, where failure to comply can result in penalties like fines or imprisonment. Primary legal duties include obey federal law, state and local laws, paying income or other taxes honestly, serving on a jury when summoned, and registering for selective service. Males ages 18 to 25. Legal duty of a citizen: obey laws. The most fundamental duty is to follow the laws established by government, which are designed to maintain a safe and orderly society. Paying taxes. Citizens are required to pay federal, state, and local taxes, such as income tax, to fund public services like infrastructure, schools, and safety. Serving on a jury when summoned by court. Citizens are obligated to serve on a jury to ensure the constitutional right to trial by peers. Register for selective service. Male citizens and residents ages 18 through 25 are required to register a selective service system allowing the government to call for a draft in national emergencies defending the country. While they're rarely enacted through the draft, citizens have a legal duty to support and defend the Constitution and the country. Attending school. Children and teenagers are required by law to attend school with specific age requirements, generally 5 through 18, varying by state. Okay, so in my other videos, I showed you that they're not even abiding by the laws in the court of law, the Rule of Professional Conduct and the Code of Judicial Conduct, which is effective assistance to counsel, guaranteed in the Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution as part of the Due Process Clause in the 14th Amendment. And I can go on and on and on. But either way, remember when you're citing your complaint for a conspiracy against rights under the color of law, anybody can use that. You're also going to want to throw this, hey, you're holding me to this, but you're not yourself. What's up with that? And then all these other laws. And once you go over the rules of professional conduct, with every sentence you go over, you're going to say, that's not happening. That's not happening. They didn't comply. Nobody told me this. Nobody told me that. Okay, and that's deprivation of rights. Them not going over that with you, because informed consent is required before any case can proceed in a court of law, and informed consent requires reasonable information to make an informed decision to give that informed consent. And this is where the rules of professional conduct is where it starts to get that in order to give that informed consent. That would be the start of reasonable knowledge to make informed decision, to give informed consent. That's just the start of it. And to be honest with you, and I've already talked to other people, and they've always told me, they've always said it first to everybody, you literally need to be a lawyer to get through this, which is true. You literally do. And that's denying you, I think it's in the Fifth Amendment, a fair trial. How is it fair that you have to compete not just against your own attorney for their failure to disclose? Remember, disclosure is mandatory. Okay, so violating that law has penalties. Okay, so disclosure is mandatory. They'll say, well, there was disclosure, but not to you. Nobody disclosed anything to you, especially not anything I talked to you about in any of my videos. Disclosure is mandatory in a court of law. Not just to the judge and the lawyers, to you. You come first. Remember, the rule of professional conduct, it says in fairness to the opposing party and counsel. So if your lawyer isn't discussing any of these things I'm discussing with you on legal reform, as unaccompanied adult, you're not being informed. You lack the ability to give informed consent, or you do. You can't give consent or informed consent if you lack the reasonable knowledge to make an informed decision. Okay, but I'm just showing you a lot of different laws, rights and responsibilities of U.S. citizens. Citizenship is the common thread that connects all Americans. That's why I hold the Pledge of Allegiance so dearly, because I did not pledge allegiance just to the flag. I pledge allegiance to what it represents, the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution, and to quote what is said in both, that we are endowed by our creators with certain inalienable rights. Amongst these are life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And in the Declaration, it clearly states that anybody that attempts to usurp those liberties, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, it's your duty to remove such governments. Explore some of the rights and responsibilities you will gain as a citizen. Well, these are the ones you're supposed to have as a citizen. So, hey, people, you want people to quit immigrating to the United States? Tell them none of this is happening. This is corporate fluff. You know, I love my country, but I love more of the people, we the people, those who I pledge allegiance to. And I don't like anybody disrespecting the oath. If you can't live up to the oath, you're not fit for public service. The oath requires you to service we the people. Remember, you took the oath of subjugation. You are our subjects. We are not yours. Reflections on citizens' obligations. When I speak on issues, public service, for years I've been called a constitutionalist. Got my ass kicked a few times by cops. What are you, a constitutionalist? Yeah, aren't we all? Granted, I only took the Pledge of Allegiance, but you took the oath, so you're legally required to serve and protect my constitutional rights, my civil rights, my human rights, my rights as a citizen. You took oaths, but everybody violates the oath. Everybody that's in politics, well, I can't say everybody. Excuse me, don't hold me to the letter of law on that, but that's up to you to find out. Okay, I post a lot of videos about what the requirements are behind the oath. So if they're not living up to the oath, they're not living up to all those requirements. Stop by, visit me at Unaccompanied Adult, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, I think. I have some posts on Reddit, X, YouTube. Okay, but it's no charge. You don't have to join nothing. I'm just trying to make sure you don't go through any indignities that I had to survive. I don't want you living under the color of law. Not another day. Not another hour, not another minute. I'm doing my best. Watch my future videos. I have some other plans. I'm going to go forward with all these complaints again, and I got to take care of this eviction thing in 30 days, and I'm going to have the judge cite the attorney for multiple violations of the rules of professional conduct, violating the oath, conspiring with with his client to break the law. Legally, he's supposed to advise his client not to break the law and to not assist. And if his client insists on they assist, they must withdraw and inform the appropriate authorities. Okay, so there's a lot of laws being broken here as far as, my rental unit. There's a lot of major repairs that need to be made to make this place habitable, and the landlord refuses to do it. Now he's starting to do it, but in other apartments and not here. And I've been looking, I can't tell, I'm handicapped in a wheelchair, if he's renting out to other people, because he can't rent out to, and I told him, you cannot rent out to other people unless you give them disclosure. You have to let them know about all these deficiencies within the building. Without telling them and them moving in, you're renting to them at their own risk, their own health risks. And that's not legal. And what do you know? You a lawyer? No, but look it up. It's on the net. It is. But I'm no matter where you go, when I was young, I talked to a couple people, they called me conspiracy theorist, because I used to write a lot, read a lot, write a lot, and a couple women asked me, and I talked to them, and they called me conspiracy theorist because they thought I didn't know what I was talking about when it came to the law. And I said, no matter what court you go into, no matter what state, whether it be state or federal, from traffic court to the Supreme Court, there's always a conspiracy against rights under the color of law, which is forbidden. It's a federal crime. It's a federal crime. Penalties, fines, removal from public service, and incarceration. But if you've ever been in any court of law and you needed a lawyer, and your lawyer didn't speak to you on any of the issues I've spoken to you, especially when it comes to the rules of professional conduct, that's deprivation of rights. Okay, so that's against the law. That's breaking federal law. I did a video on that, deprivation of rights and the penalties of such an act. Okay, people, I'm going to say goodbye for now. All right. May your Creator always be with you and rain many beautiful blessings. May you have a long life and good health. Nothing but peace and love.